Alright, here we go. As we've got HoN Tour Season 3 Gold Cycle 2 matches once again. This time losers bracket semifinals between Team Donkekong and Twisted Fusion. Both of these teams making it very far and now just a couple series away from the grand finals. We've got this time Narcy. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey man, how's it going?
Good, and hopefully it'll be good. First time we've had you on, so nice that you finally turned D&D off long enough for us to show up. And then the other guy that's here is Enthaz, because he just keeps coming back and we can't get rid of him. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me, Quincy. I appreciate it.
Did I invite you, or are you just like, yeah, I'm coming too? I can never remember.
I guess begging is a proper word. I was trying to put it nice though.
Well, look, it's important that everybody knows exactly how desperate you are. Otherwise, you know, they won't know the real you, and it matters.
Indeed.
Anyway, we started this up and then had to go fix some other stuff, so Jesus Christ, we're way into this replay already. Balfagor, Revenant, Legionnaire, and Cthulhuphant going to be the first bans. Balfagor and Lego getting taken up by the Legion side, Revenant and Cthulhuphant by the Hellborn side. That leaves open all sorts of stuff like Rhapsody and Swiftblade and Parasite and Ophelia, and all of those heroes have been taken. And Magnus, who's Enthaz's favorite hero in the entire world. So, interesting bans, I think, especially that Lego.
Solomon.
And Jesus Christ, Solomon. So, Narcy, what do you think? Bans, picks, what do you got so far?
I mean, when it comes to bans and picks, really, a lot of it really depends on how well you studied your opponent. And Donkey Kong here obviously studied Twisted Fusion pretty well. They did ban Twisted Fusion, run a very active Legionnaire, and it's actually been pretty effective in Gold. I doubt it's going to be successful in Diamond, and I doubt they're even going to run it. But it has been something that other teams haven't been able to deal with. So I like that ban, sort of, just because they probably don't know how to deal with it. So they're like, yep, screw that. The Balfagor ban, I'm not so sure. That's a weird ban.
It's targeted as well because Slot Pleased has some pretty serious history playing Balf, both in the jungle and in the suicide role. So, I mean, that is more research, I guess, from Slaskidret on DNKE's side, but honestly, Ophelia feels like it'd be a better ban than Lego, because Archie Tiger plays a very, very good Ophelia, and that hero seems a lot more dangerous to me than Lego. You got any thoughts here, Enthaz?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Parasite and Ophelia are two of the strongest junglers in the game. Both of them are very annoying heroes to verse, and I want to see how these jungle lineups end up, because both of them are extremely strong heroes, and they're sure to do some serious work this game.
Yeah. And I do want to note, too, as well, they're picking the Ophelia into the Parasite, of course, and typically Parasite considered not really a hard counter, but very annoying for an Oaf to deal with, especially early on if they end up being in the same jungle, because, of course, Parasite says, you think that minion's yours? Well, actually, I want it, and it doesn't typically end very well for Ophelia. So we'll see how Archie Tiger deals with that, as it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to be playing that hero. And Solomon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
I just wanted to mention, when it comes to Ophelia and Parasite on a competitive level, if you want to say, or on a high level, usually most Ophelia players don't have a problem against Parasite. It's actually in Ophelia's favor, the better the Ophelia player, because if you're fast enough with Ophelia, you can kill your creep before Parasite goes in there. And then the Parasite only has, you know, his infest, while Ophelia as a ranged hero is just going to harass him out of the jungle if he tries to get close to Ophelia. That's always a strength Ophelia has over Parasite, especially in the early levels where, you know, infest isn't at its highest point yet. Later on it would be annoying, but like right now and almost always, unless you're not that fast with your bindings on Ophelia, then you should be good. So
that's a fair point, no doubt.
On that note, I'm surprised that Donkey Kong banned Legionnaire, because usually when you're on a Parasite is very, very good at blocking Legionnaire's early farm. I mean, if you're playing a Legionnaire and you're versus a Parasite who decides to mess with your jungle early on, you're going to have a really tough time getting that early farm, which you pretty much need on a Legionnaire. Legionnaire can be a deadly force if given early farm, and Parasite is the best jungler to counter that hero.
Yeah. Well, best?
Cthulhu is the best.
I mean,
Cthulhu's broken.
so it's just broken, so there's that. But I don't know. I feel like Tempest would be horrible against Legionnaire. That wouldn't work at all. Solstice might work okay, I guess. I feel like Parasite, if he keeps taking all the big creeps, that might actually help Lego early on, because he doesn't really want to deal with like the Vagabond leader at level 1. But he could kill an assassin in a Vagabond camp relatively easily, especially if he doesn't have to take all that damage from a bigger creep. So I get what you're saying. I'm not sure if I agree with you, and so I think
it's very like like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Mainly because of two things. Legionnaire is an insane farmer, so if he stays at level 4 till 10 minutes, it doesn't matter, because at 14 minutes he's gonna be at level 9.
Mhm.
You know, he's gonna be like almost the level of your mid hero. Like, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care if he gets harassed. That's one thing. Another thing is that on a on a competitive scale, if you want to call it, the support will likely go into the jungle and help the Legionnaire out. And Legionnaire dishes quite a bit of damage if you hit him. Like, those spins are pretty strong, and the early Parasite Infest definitely like won't last too much against that. But
yeah,
again, it just comes down to really the awareness. So people just usually the counter jungle is really hard to pull off in these high tier games.
Yeah. And Legion's side here going to finish off with Empath and Kinesis. And I loved their draft until that Kinesis picked. I love the Swiftblade. The Empath's very good with that. Parasite's a great hero. Magnus is fantastic, as we've talked about before. I really don't like Kinesis, and they're going to suicide him, I'm almost entirely sure, which is okay. But he just seems to me like he's a hero. He gets a bunch of kills early on because he's got so much burst damage. But then he doesn't really do anything. Like, he gets to the mid game, or even, at the 30-minute mark, which isn't even that late, and he can't burst anybody down anymore. He can't really do much of anything. But he took all the early farm, getting a bunch of kills. And maybe I've just been traumatized by TMM, but Kinesis hasn't been that successful in high tier play either. So, you guys got any thoughts on that pick? Does it ruin the Legion's draft? Like I think?
I think that this Legion team need a little bit more CC. I mean, they're running with a Swiftblade and a Parasite. And keep in mind, they do have a Swiftblade, and they do have that Magma Stun. So Magma Stun, plenty of CC, but Swiftblade and Empath don't provide all that much. The wall's great, the Essence thing is great. And Kinesis has slow and lift, but I think if they want a hero that has a little bit more CC, maybe something like, I don't even know, like a Witch Slayer mid, even Polywog. I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more CC on that team, especially since they're running with the Swiftblade.
I definitely agree with that. And Hellborn side as well, going to finish off their draft with Kraken and Pharaoh. So, speaking of CC, that's just pretty much all over the place here on the Hellborn side. Ophelia, Rhapsody, Pharaoh, Kraken, and even Solomon, all providing at least some form of stun or a lockdown in one form or another. And wouldn't be surprised to see these Legion heroes having some difficulty getting away from that, as really Magma's the only one that has substantial getaway potential. Obviously Swiftblade with spin can get away, but no real blinky type escape mechanism. And it's going to depend pretty heavily on outplaying as opposed to just being like, yeah, guess what, I've got a getaway and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. So thoughts on either side's draft there, Narcy? Which one are you favoring right now?
I feel Hellborn completely outdrafted Legion this game. Like, just complete destruction. I don't know. I don't feel really that Legion are going to be able to do anything this game. Just the fact, at a team fight level, basically, Hellborn have insane counter initiation. And initiation, of course, but just the counter initiation is exactly what Legion should be afraid of, and that's exactly what they have. Magnus is obviously Pharaoh is really good against Magnus. Pharaoh is really good against Swiftblade. Like, he can... And there's Kraken as well, extremely good against Swiftblade, Kraken. And that is exactly how you counter that hero, which a lot of teams are having trouble with when it comes to Swiftblade, but you get that superior magic CC, and that's exactly what they're getting here on the Hellborn side, and it's going to do wonders for them, I think.
Right, and you look at the Hellborn side as well in terms of their team synergy. It's amazing. Kraken and Pharaoh, Mummy Walls into the release of the Kraken, good luck getting out of that. You've got, like you talked about, the counter initiation, as well as just the defensive capabilities of Ophelia and Rhapsody in these team fights, plus the dance floor, and presumably an Astrolabe from Ophelia at some point. the healing potential for the Hellborn team is going to be pretty ridiculous. Like, you can jump somebody on the Legion with a whole bunch of damage, and then all of a sudden North's Blessing, Astrolabe, Dance Floor, Rhapsody Ultimate, and all the damage you just did is gone, and they're entirely invincible. So it could be really, really difficult for this Legion side to kill the Hellborn team at all, much less, you know, take fights as you're talking about, as their counter initiation and initiation potential is very good. Their team fight is fantastic. So I agree. I think the Hellborn ended up with a much better draft here, and I think the Legion could have salvaged it if they didn't pick that frickin' Kinesis, who they will in fact send mid. So.
See what just happened in Hellborn jungle?
Yeah.
Like, you can't pull that stuff off in a competitive game. It's really easy to counter, so that's gonna hinder Parasite's farm big time. Doesn't have the Chalice, and he already wasted so much time. He's gonna be behind the Ophelia, so because here's the thing, Legion, at least what's going for them is that they have that mid lane that should be won. Like, Kinesis should be able to pretty much destroy the Sparrow, and the bottom lane is won as well, except they lost lane control for some reason. But
yeah, I think.
But yeah, these are the two things that are going for them, and with Parasite helping these two lanes, they should. That's the only way they're gonna have an advantage this game, and they're already sort of blowing it. So.
Right. I do want to mention too that earlier today I did Losers Bracket Round 2 with Twisted Fusion versus Adrian's family, and in Game 2 I think they ran almost exactly the same lineup, with Time to Die on a Suicide Pharaoh in that instance. Actually top lane, Magnus, no, he's going to be okay with Steam Math, but Time to Die on a Suicide Pharaoh, he beat a Bubbles 1v1 actually, as on the Legion side, so definitely Time to Die plays a very good Pharaoh, so. You're right, I think Kinesis should have the advantage in this middle lane. I'm just a little bit skeptical about it because of what I saw earlier. And actually, double damage rune to be picked up here by Pharaoh, already has his bottle. And then the Ophelia and Solomon and Rhapsody were also on that team, did very, very well against Adrian's family and took that series 2-0. So these are definitely heroes that they have a lot of comfort with, and they just played it, you know, I guess by this timeline, I think the day before or something. So, Twisted Fusion has I think the objective draft advantage, but also if you look at how comfortable they are with these heroes, it's definitely in their favor as well. But shouldn't hype them too much and ignore the Legion side. Anthos, what do you think this Legion team's got to do to keep themselves in this game? And if they want to pull out the victory, which I assume is the point, I don't know, I'm just guessing.
I think that they're just going to have to dominate this early game. I mean, look at their draft, and their nuke potential is very strong. You have Kinesis, you have Magnus, you have Parasite, and that's great. I mean, if they can burst down Solomon and keep him CC'd until they can bring him down, that's great. But if Solomon gets that ulti off, all that burst is going to be for nothing. And who else are they going to target on this Hellborn team? I mean, you have an Ophelia, which is pretty hard to get to. You have a Pharaoh, which you're probably not going to target. Same goes for Kraken, and then there's Rhapsody. So they want to take down that Solomon, but he's just a really hard hero to kill, especially with that ultimate. So they have to play this game extremely well. I think that if they get a huge early game advantage with some kills, they definitely have a solid chance, but they need to play this very well because their draft is just not up to par.
Right. And, I mean, Solomon obviously with that ultimate very difficult to kill, and then the newest blessing on top of that from Ophelia. So even if he does get caught
out. Plus the Rhapsody ult, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, that only helps if he's next to Rap, obviously, which may be the case, and most of all, I'm just feeling the global ultimate from Ophelia, so even if Solomon happens to get caught out in some weird place, obviously that's going to be very helpful. And as you're talking
about their draft, I mean, they have 3 super tanky heroes, and then you have 2 healers on the side, one of them being Rhapsody, one of them being Ophelia.
Right.
So they just need to pick their targets and pick their fights appropriately, and if they can do that, they definitely stand a chance.
No doubt.
But a super solid draft. I mean, Rhapsody and Ophelia, definitely a good pushing combo.
Yeah, and they, like I said, we saw this earlier, they didn't really push that effectively with it early on. I was kind of surprised. They took maybe 10 or 15 minutes to get Ophelia going and start taking towers. They didn't take a single tier 1, I think, until 11 minutes, and really didn't clear out the tier 2s until closer to 20 minutes, so that kind of surprised me. Would you guys like to see, actually, top lane, never mind, because Kinesis got a mass control there, and slot plays will drop on that Solomon, so he's at 372 gold per minute, and leading the GPM charts by a fair bit even after the death. But a really good rotation there from Kinesis, and shutting down that Solomon, which is very important.
Yeah, that's the kill that they needed to get, and they definitely got it. So the start that they needed is here, and hopefully they can capitalize on it. I mean, Solomon's still, you know, clearly taking the gold per minute charts by storm, but if they can just continue bringing them down, I think it'll be really good for this Legion team.
Yeah. And Magnus now hitting level 6, so we'll see if he can use his Eruption relatively effectively here. Sees Ophelia actually off to the side with Skeleton King, and she also takes over Catman Champion, so is level 5. But would you like to see them pushing sooner rather than later on this Hellborn side, or do you think that they should perhaps play a little more passively and not try to force team fights early on?
Narcy, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, go for it.
You're talking about Legion?
Hellborn. Should they use this Ophelia Rhapsody combination like now, or are they better off?
They definitely should, especially since the Parasite is struggling big time.
At 180
like,
GPM there, and they will push top down. So yeah,
Parasite is struggling big time. It's gonna be like 5v4, and even in the 5v4, you're talking about like an empath that's level 2. They can straight up push towers because Legion cannot face them in any way. So right now they can take all first tier towers, and if Legion face them, they lose a fight and they lose the game.
Right.
Even if they just push, like, see those 3 that are top, they can push towers on their own.
Yeah.
Even if their whole team TPs, they still can't do anything because effectively right now Legion has 3 players. That's it.
And this is much more what I was expecting in that earlier series.
See, here comes the rotation.
Yeah.
But I doubt it's gonna be effective.
And Solomon will just get ported back.
See, nothing.
There. Yeah. So
like, they didn't really need to even like be too passive over here.
and it looks like Ophelia might actually be in some trouble, and the Skeleton King or Catman gets taken over. Or she's like, looks like death there. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I'm pretty sure if the Hellborn team should have reacted right there. Pharaoh did not have a TP. Kraken did not have. Kraken did have a TP. That would have been really easy counter initiation because the Legion team was just running like towards the Hellborn tower, and Pharaoh has the easiest hook ever right there, setting up for Kraken. So I don't know why they chickened out.
They just figured that they weren't going to chase that far or something like that. It was pointless to waste a TP for Kraken to come top and stuff.
Yeah,
or maybe
Ophelia turned around for some strange reason.
that too. That was
She could have easily
interesting.
gotten away. I don't know why she would have turned around. There was no reason for it.
I mean, maybe she was thinking like, I'm dead anyway. I might as well get them to focus me and let Rap get away. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I think she was going to get caught by the Lava Surge. Like, I'm not sure if she could have avoided it. She's not particularly fast right now. She doesn't have boots.
Right.
And Magnus does have steam boots. So I think she was dead, no matter what. And she knew, I guess, that there wasn't rotation coming in, obviously, because there weren't any teleports. So she's just like, alright, I have no boots. I'm going to get caught. So at least Rhapsody can live. But speaking of that, Ophelia doesn't have boots.
Yeah, I think a better sacrifice would have been Rhapsody there. I think Ophelia is a stronger hero in their draft, and they should have kept her alive.
I think if Rap had come back and tried to distract, they would have just killed them both.
Right, but I think that if one of them was going to get away while the other one served as a scapegoat, I think Rhapsody should have been the one to die.
I don't think there was a
Just
choice.
my personal opinion. Maybe.
I think you're just wrong. Anyway, Kraken in the bottom lane, getting jumped on, but he's really tanky. He pops the port and then immediately cancels it. That actually might have worked.
Dead.
He might have been able to get away with a TP there, and yeah, he's definitely going to fall, as there goes the leech finally. And Parasite manages
Could
to
have
finish
killed
off
the Swiftblade right there.
If he could find
Pretty
vision,
easily,
flash
actually,
auto,
if he
would've
just,
killed him.
he had that Swiftblade.
So, a bit unfortunate there. Swiftblade currently at 321 gold per minute and 330 on Kinesis, actually. So Kinesis doing very well in that middle lane, but so is Pharaoh at 300 plus gold per minute. Kinesis obviously getting the Bloodlust as well as another assist. And
Yeah, so we're nearly 10 minutes in. I mean, this Hellborn team is behind in kills, but they are ahead in gold by about 1,000 GPM thanks to Solomon. Solomon's about 430 GPM right now. Kinesis is the second most high farmer, and he's about 330. Swiftblade following close behind. So, I mean, despite these early kills, the Hellborn is still keeping up in gold. They are behind in experience by 1.5k. But this Legion team, I mean, I think they're playing it right for the most part. It'd be good if they got some towers. I think that giving them map control would be really important, especially against countering his pushes. But
can they push towers, do you think? I really don't feel like they can. Like,
at the moment, no.
I don't know. I don't think they can really push into fights. I think they're going to have to take kills and then turn that into a push.
I'm really surprised right now because Although, you know, they have 1,000 gold advantage, which obviously is because of Solomon, but they're not doing too well right now. The Hellborn side, like,
Yeah.
the main thing that's going on is the entire Legion team is farming very efficiently. The Hellborn team is really trying to set something up, and that's
Yep.
hurting them a lot. Especially Ophelia.
Yep.
Ophelia hasn't farmed the creep in a while. Like, I don't understand what he's doing. He's lost all the advantage he had for Parasite. He's actually under Parasite now. When at one point he was 6, Parasite was 4.
And he is finally going to group up and try to take this tier 1 middle, which they will get. Port back on somebody. I think with the 2-man Lava Surge right in there and a mass control onto Kraken's
really
head.
good
Yeah,
initiation.
there goes the ultimate from Ophelia. Kraken will still fall in the meantime. Gets to release Kraken onto a couple, and Shorcan dies on that Parasite. Also a kill on King Nikke on Empath, so 2 down in favor of just the one. Solomon coming out of the ulti and actually will get the kill onto Swiftblade, but Ophelia also going to pay for that. Magnus just barely, no, Rocket comes in and fishes him off. Solomon trying to live, and not last out from Kinesis won't work. There goes the Rhapsody dance floor. Solomon's baiting this, and it's going to work. As the Catman champion actually comes in and helps out with the slow, but a genocide now in favor of the Hellborn team. And despite the initiation from the Legion side, it's the heals, the counter initiation like we were talking about earlier. The Hellborn side can really, really take that fight that starts and gets begun by the Legion team and turn it around. I really like that bait too from Salomon going, yeah, no, I'm gonna come back, you can kill me, you can kill me. And Kinesis like, please. No.
Right. Yeah, you're seeing the power
was
of
really
this Hellborn
weird,
team's
yeah.
team fight.
You had something, Archie, there?
I was just gonna say that was Swiftblade just sat on that Solomon. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't agree with that. Solomon doesn't do much right now.
And
He could have Swiftblade could have taken out like 3 heroes if he just focused another target. Instead, he was hitting the Solomon for no reason. And he didn't even. He wasn't the one that even did damage to Solomon. All of his damage went into Solomon's ult. So
And
the
then
damage came from Magnus and Kinesis. So
Swiftblade stopped spinning, and Solomon's ult broke and did a whole bunch of magic damage to him as well. So very, very bad timing on that.
that was just really, really terribly executed by Swiftblade right there. Not sure why he did that. That was weird.
Who do you guys think that this Legion team should be focusing down in team fights?
Roxy and Ophelia.
Ophelia first, I would say. Just take out that Ophelia, get rid of that heal, and then go for the rest of them. Rhapsody is huge as well. Yeah.
Although Rhapsody is not like she doesn't have an ult yet, so without that, probably
Yeah,
less.
but
of an
even when
important
she has
Yeah.
even when she has her ult, I think they have enough CC to stop it, unless he positions himself well.
target. Yeah. And Ophelia, still no boots.
Don't be jealous of me now.
We're now 15 minutes into this game, and she's got like 234 gold per minute. It's not like she has completely nothing. She's got the refreshing ornament, yeah, that's what that's called, and the ring of sorcery. But I'm very confused.
Kinesis actually picking up a glowstone. Do you guys think he'll be going for an icon or a staff of the master?
Has to be an icon. Can't be staff. Could be frostbolt. Not really.
Doubtful.
Yeah, it's not gonna be frostbolt. I mean, like, it's gotta be an icon, right? Is there any realistic possibility it's not?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, Kinesis ult does have a bonus to it, but I doubt he'll pick it up. It's not all that effective.
This early on, I don't think they can do that. I mean, they need to snowball on the Legion side. They've got all this burst magic damage. Like, what they need to do is, you know, get pickoffs, and that would work very well with an icon if they're just gonna try to roam around and kill individual heroes. Plus, Gift the Goddess plus inherent defense. It'd be pretty hard to kill that Kinesis.
Definitely.
And
So
Skeleton
Solomon
King,
and Pharaoh both have helms, and it looks like they're roaming mid for
trying to kill this
Kinesis.
Parasite, but they're not going to be able to get it. Just runs away, no problem. He's also going to triple stack the Ancients here as well. And wouldn't be surprised to see Magmas come in there with the Eruption, perhaps to take them out. He is pretty close to his portal key as well. File at 260 gold per minute, so should have that PK in a couple of minutes. Gonna pressure top tower and should be able to get this kill as well, despite the presence of Solomon. Unless they rotate somebody over, but it doesn't look like it. And are they gonna just bait this? Yeah. Not sure. Steam Bath used there, and Magma's gonna Lava Surge away, so he's not gonna be able to get this now. And it looks like Slop Please will be able to deny the top tower.
Laughable.
Actually, well played to them. As he's just sitting there going, yeah, come on, take it. Mid tower, in the meantime, is getting pressured by the Legion side. Should be a pretty easy kill here as well. And bottom lane, we've got Ophelia and Pharaoh taking out that tier 1 tower. So all tier 1 towers going to be cleared up by the Hellborn side. Legion have only to take out the bottom tier 1, which is already at half health. And the top tier 2 actually died at some point as well. I completely missed that.
Triple stacked Ancients on both sides.
Yep. And I guess Solomon's the right candidate for that. I don't know. Actually, Kraken. If Kraken took that, he'd
Probably
get a
Kraken. Kraken's ult is gonna be Hellborn's strongest point this game. Like their strongest tool in the entire game. Because the second the Swiftblade comes out, the Kraken goes on and that's it. Swiftblade is useless, even if he buys a BKB, whatever he buys.
And this tier 2 on bottom is dead.
Yeah, Legion wants to defend it, but Magnus just isn't close enough, even though he did just pick up his portal key.
Sort of high on Solomon, so he'll be going for a mock very, very early on. And
Indeed.
like the rotation from the Legion side there, if they were going to take that fight, that was fine. But if they weren't going to initiate, then that's a lot of time wasted, and now they have to go back to their various lanes, clean up the farm, and they just basically spent a minute or so doing nothing, rotating bottom and sitting there and watching the tower die, and then rotating top again. So they feels like they don't quite know what to do with that push. Like,
yeah, I really wish that Rhapsody would be putting more wards down. I mean, they did just push the tier 2 from the Legion side. I think that they could have gotten a jungle ward down, perhaps established a little bit more map control so that they could end up pushing that tier 2 at mid. I think with the amount of push power that they have, they should be warding a little bit more. I mean, they have 2 counter wards close to Legion jungle, bordering the river, and they have one at the bot room. So, I don't know. I think they can even do more with the wards, but yeah.
At the same time, though, I don't feel Hellborn are really on a timer here.
yeah.
I think they're better off going into this late game big time. And so, like, I really don't think they should be worried. This Solomon is farming out of his mind. I'm not sure what he bought. He bought something.
Mock. He bought a Sword of the High.
Was it a mock?
He bought a Sword of the High.
Oh,
so
okay.
unless
Yeah,
it's a
he just has
Doombringer,
it
it's
on the
probably a
base.
mock.
You never know.
Yeah, but 1350 gold here, and there it is. The mock's finished, so that'll obviously help his farm even more. And at 18 minutes in, continuous 40 magic damage per second, that's going to be very problematic for this Legion side, because none of them are all that tanky, really. Inherent
Right.
defense from Kinesis is going to be very helpful, of course, but at the end, you know, that burn is going to be a pretty serious problem. And like, if it stops Magma's portal key even, could be very, very problematic. And Kongor sort of feels like it's happening. Yeah, sorry.
Puzzle box, by the way, coming out from Parasite. I really like that.
Yeah.
I was just hoping that Ophelia wouldn't get a puzzle box or Pharaoh wouldn't get a puzzle box, but at this point it doesn't matter anymore because he got it. A lot of like Parasite players like to wait and see if the Pharaoh's gonna get a puzzle box, because then they can just take over it in a fight. But oh wow, and the Kongor attempt coming,
Yeah.
but Legion are aware.
Definitely is
Using
warned.
Tornado Scout.
Before this fight, I'd like to provide some insight. If you're versing a Parasite, don't go for a puzzle box because he will take advantage of it and make you look like a fool. Parasite getting gone.
Yeah, I don't know what this Parasite's doing.
That was a
He's-
terrible decision as he gets jumped now, and he's
Pretty
going to be
dead.
a lot of trouble. Swift Slash is still there, doing a lot of damage, and Shuriken will be the first one to fall anyway. Kinesis is going to be able to get the kill onto Douchebag Mac on the Rhapsody right off the bat, but Solomon's still in his ulti form doing a ton of damage. Essence Link down there doesn't actually stun Pharaoh, and File in the background falls in the Magnus as well.
The
He
same
did
thing
get
just
the
happened
eruption
again.
The
I
Legion
don't
have
understand.
destroyed a Hellborn tower.
off. And
Yeah,
so
Swiftblade ulted the he ulted the Solomon while he's in ulti form. I don't know. That's grim.
I mean, I guess they feel like they have to kill him because he's all their damage, but that's not even true at this point. So,
Killing the others is way
Yeah.
more important. Yeah.
like, this Ophelia and the Rhapsody have got to be the most important targets on the team.
Especially since the 3 strength heroes all have helms at this point
Yeah.
and are pretty much unkillable on this Legion team.
Especially if you put a bunch of heals behind them because you don't kill the support. Like,
Exactly.
it's one thing to have a Helm that makes you nice and tanky. It's something to have a Helm and a Dance Floor and a New Earth's Blessing and a Rhapsody Ultimate and an Astrolabe.
And an
Switchblade is
Astrolabe,
also
yep.
nowhere near the farm he should have.
Yeah.
It's 7-6. There's not been a lot of action, and he should be way more farmed right now. I think he should be hitting 500 GPM.
He's currently at 120 CS and 123 for Solomon, but obviously has that wish for wealth. So not too many heroes farming all that well, but I think more importantly, you look at the Hellborn team, 130 on Solomon, but 108, 101, and then 60 for the rest of their side. Legion much, much further below that.
Oh, for sure, the economy on Hellborn side is way better. They're taking advantage of the map. Every time I look at the map, I look at Hellborn's side of the map, and it's almost always empty.
Solomon actually will get jumped. Did the face hug hit him, or did it hit a creep? I don't know. Either way, no real way they're gonna get that kill, but it looked
Oh,
like
yeah,
he
I was
might have
saying
face-hugged
like look at the Hellborn side. It's always empty, almost. Which is, you know, they're just always taking advantage. They're always stacking. They're always getting their economy up.
Right.
And meanwhile, on the Legion side, their jungle is almost always full.
Yeah.
And on top of that, their ancients are blocked. So Hellborn absolutely destroying Legion in terms of economy.
Right. Now,
Quincy, we're gonna need some creep efficiency stats in this game.
yeah, I know. I should bring that up. But Swiftblade, speaking of his farming issues, he did choose to go the Abyssal Skull into Firebrand route. And I feel like that's a good build if you're Suicide or something, or if you get really, really shut down in the early game for some reason. But that really wasn't the case. He was up against a Suicide Kraken with an Empath Babysit. He should have been fine. I feel like the Cleave build here would have been a lot better. Yes, no? Either you, Narcy, wanna go for that?
The Swiftblade?
Oh, yeah, if you want Cleave instead
Yeah,
of
for
Abyssal.
sure. He went for you know, the team fight build, and understandably, because Hellborn were trying to force something.
Right.
Now Hellborn ended up, you know, sitting back a little and going like, oh, you know what? Why are we even forcing this? We have a farming Solomon.
The Hellborn
And so
destroyed a Legion
that completely
tower.
destroyed Legion, because he was in that mindset too. He wasn't even in the mindset of farming. He was in the mindset the entire time is, I need to be ready for this next fight. I need to be ready for this next fight. So he wasn't even fighting, like farming efficiently at all. So meanwhile, Hellborn are just
Yeah. They're just like, there's
farming.
nothing they can do about this at this point. Solomon sells a token for 2 minutes. All outer towers are dead in favor of the Hellborn side. We still haven't even hit the 25-minute mark. And Solomon's just sitting in the front of this going, yeah, come at me. And Parasite will take over the Catman there, but he's going to get pushed out of it there. And Empath on the side just gets destroyed. So now as one for her. Release the Kraken, going to be on top of Swiftblade. And now that's going to be actually nice mass
Huge
control
Kraken
and a
ult.
huge Lava Surge. They will get the kill onto Salem there, but a Rhapsody ult stopping all sorts of damage in the background. Solomon will not quite fall here. He does still have the token. There he goes. And Magnus in the background gonna get a 2-man Lava Surge. Ophelia gonna get caught out as a result, but there's the Staccatos onto him. No mana Pristine Bath. There goes the Dance Floor as well. He's gonna die. He's just trying to get Rhapsody. That's not gonna happen. Inherent Defense stopping a lot of damage, but again, the Mock Burn actually is really mitigating a lot of that. So the Legion side will defend that. It requires a buyback from Magnus, but they get the token out, and they actually get a few number of creep kills. I don't think they really came out ahead because Hellborn, you know, it's a little early to be pushing base, and they still basically did it.
Oh,
got away
not
with
at
it.
all, not at all. If you notice, the Kraken ult just rendered the Swiftblade completely useless,
Right.
and whatever Swiftblade gets, it's not gonna matter. That's why this hero is just too good against Swiftblade if you place that ultimate right. And yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I just don't feel like Legion are really taking this game really seriously, to be honest. Like that Magmus trying to kill the Rhapsody right there, that was like completely random.
Yeah.
He
See-
couldn't have killed her logically, and either way, it was like even
He
if
got
he killed
the
her and
Ophelia.
died, like it would have been, you know.
He got the Ophelia. Like in the back after he lava surged in towards the trees.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he killed
Okay,
the
then my
Ophelia
bad.
and then went for the Rhapsody.
Okay, my bad then. Yeah, I did not know that. I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention to
Right.
Solomon at the time.
I mean, it was still basically a suicide mission. Like, he was out of mana. There was no way he was going to live through that, so he had to have known. Even if I get the oath, then I'm still not going to survive this. As Parasite getting chased down in the puzzle box wizard, but he will be okay. And Ophelia with all sorts of minions once again. Probably shouldn't group up quite yet, and perhaps look for the next Kongor and then go for it. Kinesis did finish off the Icon, so that ends up being his choice. He's currently got 4 charges on it, so it's not bad. Hopefully he'll be able to snowball. Do you look at the hero damage chart right now, and Kinesis is up there at 18%. That's what I was talking about in the beginning, is he's doing all sorts of damage. I don't feel like he's that impactful, though. Like, he does a bunch of damage in these fights with mass control, but how much is it really doing? It hurts.
Exactly. Yeah. This damage chart is always like, just I never look at damage charts. They're just really bad places to look. Like, they don't take into effect, you know, the fact that, oh hey, you know, I just did 1,000 damage to Solomon and he was in his ult. It doesn't even matter, you know. So I wouldn't really look at that too much, especially since right now Hellborn are buying tank.
Yeah.
They have they do have their idol already finished on Pharaoh, and Pharaoh has another 2,800 gold saved up. They do have now souls on Kraken, and there's no way Legion are going to be able to kill Hellborn right now.
Right. I mean, this Pharaoh's out farming the Swiftblade at this point.
If they all just stand there in their place for like 10 seconds and do nothing, they'll still win a fight.
Right.
So that's an issue.
Cleaning up triple stacked Ancients right there. The entire Hellborn team is, and they're moving pretty together.
It just comes down to economy. Like, look at this. They have a Tricore going on the Hellborn team right now. Plus Ophelia, who's, you know, decently farmed. She did come back, and they have the best support in the game. They just have everything going for them here. And meanwhile, on the Legion side, they're just not looking too good. And an Icon picked up on the Kinesis. I disagree with that.
I mean, he's been going up for it for a long time. His farm's just not that good to have gotten it much before now. He also has a push book, so that'll be nice for Swiftblade. Can he even target Swiftblade while he's spinning? With a push book?
Who? No, he can't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So,
yeah.
Stasis Smash will work, though.
That just needs to be coordination between Swiftblade and the rest of his team, where if he gets ulted by Pharaoh and Mummid, he shouldn't spin.
Right.
They should, I mean, if they're close to him at least.
I can feel the panic spin into the I can't push book because you're spinning, and that's just, it's
I hope they're
hard to
thinking
argue
about
that's
it,
not gonna
but I
happen.
doubt it.
Another thing I've noticed too is, like, Empath in this game suffering very, very hard, obviously, just sitting on Striders and a couple of teleports. And now a Rev Ward. But she hasn't been getting inside of people, I don't think. Like, I don't think she's been using her ulti.
She hasn't done it, actually, at all. Swiftblade hasn't, and Empath has never been in Swiftblade so far in any fight. She's been a completely separate part of the map, or dying instantly, or... Like, in that fight at the Legion middle tower,
they jumped her.
She just, like, straight up walked up to them. We're like, kill me, might as well. You're gonna kill me later.
Wrath of the Pharaoh then HoN Tour. So I mean, like, they're focusing her down pretty quickly, which makes good sense. I mean, it's a good initiation target that just dies immediately and takes a pretty good amount of damage and annoyance off the table if you can kill her very quickly, which is obviously very possible. Speaking of which, once again, there's the wall, and Solomon going to catch her out. She's going to try to teleport away, but now it's going to be canceled. Essence Link goes down, and the Kraken ultimate catching Swiftblade when he's spinning once again. Mass Control goes down onto Ophelia. She doesn't care, she just eats it. And the Wrath of the Pharaoh in onto Kinesis. He's going to die. Empath didn't jump inside of him, but now she's going to be captured as well. Just the one auto attack from Solomon while he's in that ulti form kills her, basically. And that's 3 for nothing. It's going to be mid push, and it's probably going to be mid Rax. There's no buyback on Kinesis or Empath. Swiftblade did buy out, but like, they can't stop this. They have no counter push.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the tower. And Lava Surgeon on Solomon, but they're just annoying at this point. Like, they're not doing anything at all that's really impactful. Kinesis is back up in 15 seconds. It looks like actually Hellborn. Yeah, please don't back off. Like, you can take Rax here, guys. So Solomon finally just start beating on these melee Rax and saying, I don't care. Wizard is... Okay, really, dude, you can just keep... Okay, no. 3-man Lava Surge there with the Portal Key from Magnus. He's got the Steam Bath up, but a nice Rapid Ult will stop all the damage coming in. Pharaoh, meanwhile, locking down Parasite in the walls, and I was like on Swiftblade dies immediately. That's an important kill off the bat. He's got no buyback. Nice Lava Surge again from Magnus, but it doesn't matter. Staccato's locking down Kinesis. He's going to die. Inherent Defense stopping a bunch of damage, but that doesn't matter. Magnus here porting back into the mid, and that's going to be Rax. Another 3-man Lava Surge, but his Portal Key's on cooldown now, and Rev Ward goes down. Now he's in trouble, so that was a really, really questionable play, and CC vote goes through, and they're done.
Legion
So,
barracks has been destroyed.
yeah, like, that was pretty much inevitable.
Okay, just completely outdrafted.
Right. I hate that Kinesis pick. I really did. I don't think they were outdrafted until the Kinesis pick. I think they needed something with more counter push. I think the Parasite first obviously did nothing that game because of the Hellborn draft, so that in that sense it wasn't outdraft. But if they'd picked something other than Kinesis that had counter push, I feel like that could have been helpful. But that's it for me. Anthos, final thoughts on the game? Haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, Donkey Kong got outdrafted. I can support the Kinesis pick if you're versing squishy heroes, like an overall squishy team.
Right.
But, I mean, in that first big team fight at the Legion base, he ulted with, I think it was 8 creeps. He got 3 of the Hellborn heroes, and it didn't even phase them.
Yeah.
They just stood there and took it. So even when you get great ults off like that, do as much damage as you possibly can, it's just not enough to turn a fight. So yeah, they got outdrafted, no counter push, despite that early Ophelia pick from Twisted Fusion. And again, yeah, they just drafted completely wrong. I think that if they picked stronger heroes, they definitely stood a chance.
Hellborn have destroyed
I
a
mean,
Legion
to be fair, at the
tower.
end, Mass Control used
A
couldn't even
Legion
kill
barracks has
Ophelia.
been
Like,
destroyed.
that's
Been
bad,
destroyed.
if that
A
happens.
That's saying
Legion
something.
barracks has been destroyed. Legion barracks has been destroyed.
Narcy, anything else on that game?
I mean, same thing. You know, Kinesis, I really like the hero. I really think it's untapped potential. But definitely, well, not middle. Definitely not middle against the tanky team. And I love the hero on Suicide Roll. It's really, really, really strong if you know how to play it right. Instant lane control, and a lot of damage coming into the mid game. That can really, really help your team. So I don't want to bash the hero basically, but you know, this just wasn't his place or time.
Right. Well, that'll do it here for